All right, so we're diving deep today, folks, into Jada Pinkett Smith's journey.
Yeah.
You know, all about finding herself as she lays it out in her memoir, Worthy.
Yeah.
We're going way beyond those crazy headlines and really getting into the nitty-gritty of her interview with Jay Shetty.
Yeah, yeah.
She spills the tea
Mm-hmm.
on some seriously powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, surprising truths about her life, right?
Yeah,
This isn't just your typical, like, celebrity tell-all type of thing. It's raw, it's honest, and it's really about what it means to find your own self-worth. You know, even when it looks like you've got it all, right? Like, she's got it all on paper.
Yeah.
But what's going on underneath?
Right, and that's what's so captivating about Worthy.
Yeah.
It's that theme of going from feeling completely unlovable
Oh, yeah.
to discovering this true sense of self-worth.
Wow.
And this isn't some, theoretical concept she's talking about. It's a lived experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And she unpacks it in such raw, honest detail. It's incredible.
Yes, yes.
To understand this journey, we really have to start at the beginning with the really unique family dynamics of her childhood.
Yeah.
That sets the stage.
Okay, so we're talking childhood, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this was not your typical upbringing.
No, no.
Her mom was a teenager.
Yeah, yeah.
Battling addiction.
Yeah.
And it created this really unusual dynamic, almost like having a big sister for a parent.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
And that really forced Jada to grow up way too fast,
Yeah.
Figure things out on her own.
Absolutely. And, that forced her to be self-reliant very early on.
Right.
Which, in some ways you could see as a positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, it really ingrained this feeling of, like, not being the priority in her parents' lives.
Wow.
And she talks about feeling like she wasn't lovable enough to be their main focus.
That is so heavy. 7 years old.
It's a turning point.
And it's like, you think about the impact of that
Oh, yeah.
on a little kid,
Absolutely.
developing their sense of self-worth.
Yeah, their whole sense of self.
It's heavy stuff.
It really speaks volumes about how those early experiences, how they shape our beliefs about ourselves, about relationships.
And it makes you think, like, how much of what's happening in our relationships now is coming from those early years, those formative years, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for all of us to take a moment to reflect on our own childhoods.
Yes.
Think about those early experiences.
Yeah.
How did you experience love, family?
Yeah.
And how is that showing up in your relationships today?
Heavy but good stuff.
Heavy but important.
Okay, so then we see this amazing shift, right? In Jada's life.
Yeah.
Enter these incredible mentors.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got, like, Donald Hicken. He sees her talent, right? At the Baltimore School for the Arts.
Yeah.
And then Tupac Shakur.
Tupac, yes.
Who really encouraged her to go after her dreams, move to LA.
To pursue it all, yeah.
Right. And there's this belief, right? That, like, success, fame, they solve all our problems.
Oh, yeah. That's the dream.
It's like so seductive.
It is.
And Jada even admits to, like, believing it at first.
Yeah, buying into that idea.
But here's where it gets really, really interesting.
Okay, tell me.
Even with all this success, like, her career is booming.
Yeah.
She has what she calls a nervous breakdown.
Wow.
Yeah. And she realized, like, all that material success, that wasn't the answer.
It wasn't the magic solution.
No.
Yeah.
And it left her with this, like, a profound sense of disappointment, like, existential.
This void,
Yeah, void.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, what are our own definitions of success? Right.
Fulfillment? Are we chasing external validation?
Yeah.
Or are we working towards inner peace?
That's the real question, right?
That's the big one.
Okay, so now let's talk about this extraordinary friendship with Tupac.
Yeah.
Like, this connection, so deep, so pure, built on understanding, loyalty.
True connection.
Right.
Yeah.
It defies easy categorization,
Absolutely.
because there was, like, zero romantic or physical chemistry between them.
And that distinction is so important.
Right.
And it's so refreshing to hear her talk about it.
Yes.
It highlights the fact that you can have incredibly powerful, supportive relationships
Right.
without that that sexual element. It's about the energetic connection, the shared understanding that goes beyond just like surface level stuff.
Okay, so here's this amazing detail. Tupac, super protective of Jada, right?
Yeah.
Questioned most of her relationships.
Yeah, very protective. But when she starts dating Will Smith,
right.
Silence.
Total silence.
Like almost like he was giving his approval, you know?
Like he saw it.
Yeah, recognizing it was real.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
It does.
About their friendship.
The depth of it, the trust.
It makes you think about your own relationships, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, are there friendships in your life that maybe don't fit into a neat little box, you know?
Yeah, that defy categorization.
But they offer so much value.
Incredible value.
Yeah, think about that.
Think about those people.
Okay, now, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, right?
Right.
The Oscars incident. Easy to judge based on what we saw.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But Jada reveals a totally different side to the story.
It's all about context.
Yeah, context.
Right.
Like, she wasn't offended by Chris Rock's joke because it was about her.
Exactly.
It was about the pain, the shame that goes along with alopecia.
Yeah, which so many people experience.
Silently.
Silently.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and here's another surprise.
Okay.
Jada and Will, they weren't actually living as husband and wife at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, they'd gone through these separations, right? Essentially living separate lives.
Separate lives.
So that sheds a whole new light on things.
It does.
And then Jada chooses to address the entanglement.
Right.
On Red Table Talk. It was her way of like stepping into authenticity, you know?
Yeah, shedding that persona.
Shedding the persona that she felt stuck in, right?
Absolutely.
Embracing her truth.
Yeah.
Regardless of what people were going to say.
Public opinion be damned.
Yeah. And that brings us to such a powerful point.
A huge point.
How often are we prioritizing what other people think?
Yeah, that external validation.
Over our own inner work, right? Like, what would it take for you to live more authentically?
Yeah.
Even if it means, like, facing discomfort.
Discomfort, criticism, judgment.
Judgment.
Yeah.
These are tough questions.
They are, but they're essential.
They are essential.
Jada's story is a challenge to all of us.
Yes.
To dig deeper. Look at our own motivations. Yeah. See how much we're driven by what other people think.
It's so easy to fall into that trap.
So easy.
Okay, now let's shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk about Jada's relationships with her kids.
Her children, yes.
Trey, Jaden, and Willow.
Beautiful relationships.
Like, she's got this beautiful, unique bond with each of them.
Each one.
Yeah. And it's clear they've taught her so much.
They've been her teachers, in a way.
Incredible lessons.
Yeah.
What I find so inspiring is how willing she is to be vulnerable with them.
Yes, that vulnerability.
You know, she lets them see her flaws.
Her humanity.
Her humanity, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, recognizing that, like, perfection. Not only is it unattainable.
Right.
But it's not even desirable.
It's not what we should be striving for.
There's this really heartwarming story.
Okay.
About Willow writing a letter to Jada. Expressing gratitude, right?
Yeah.
For her mom's vulnerability and strength.
It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
It just shows the power of open communication.
Yes. Being real with each other.
Allowing our loved ones to see our true selves.
Our authentic self.
Imperfections and all.
Whole package.
Yeah, the whole package. And then there's Jaden, the middle child.
Right.
Jada describes him as this source of unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
Like just pure love.
Yeah.
And she tells this story, right? About feeling insecure, right?
Yeah.
Doubting herself as a mom.
Oh, wow.
And Jaden just like looks at her with this pure love in his eyes and says, "Don't ever apologize to me again."
Wow, that's powerful.
Powerful, right?
Yeah.
That kind of acceptance, that unwavering love.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
It is a gift.
And it reminds us of like the healing power of family.
Of those bonds.
When we can be open and forgiving.
Forgive each other, ourselves.
Yeah, it's clear that all three of Jada's kids have like really been key.
Instrumental.
Yeah, in her growth, her healing.
They've been guides.
They've taught her to be more present, you know, more compassionate.
More accepting.
More accepting of herself, of others.
Of the world.
Yeah, and that's rippled out, you know.
Yeah.
Into all her relationships, including with Will.
It has to.
And speaking of Will, let's circle back to their journey together. Their
unique partnership.
It's been a wild ride, right?
It has.
Highs and lows, not your typical love story.
So not conventional.
But throughout it all, they've stayed connected.
At the core, yeah.
Like deep bond, you know?
Yeah.
And this willingness to like keep evolving together.
To grow together.
It's fascinating to hear her talk about all the different phases of the relationship.
Yeah.
They were so young when they got married.
Babies, practically, as she says.
Practically babies, right?
Yeah.
And they've had to like navigate building a family.
Right.
Finding their own paths.
Yeah.
While also making the marriage work.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And she's very open about the fact that they've broken up multiple times. Periods of separation.
Which most people probably had no idea about.
Right. Like that's not what you see on the surface.
No, it challenges that fairy tale view of marriage.
Totally.
It shows the reality, the messiness.
Yeah, like two real people trying to figure things out.
Two individuals, yeah.
Individually.
Yeah.
And together.
And together somehow.
And it's refreshing to hear her talk about it so honestly, right?
It is.
It takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
You know? Of having to like present this picture-perfect relationship.
Yeah, the perfect facade.
And instead it's like, okay, this is real, this is relatable.
It's human.
Yes, it's human.
Yeah.
And through all those challenges, that's how they've learned to redefine what their partnership is.
They've had to.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
They're committed to walking each other home.
Walking each other home. I love that.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
Like, it perfectly illustrates their commitment to growth, right?
Yeah.
To evolution, individually and as a couple.
And that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about choosing growth over comfort.
Yes.
Which is hard.
It is hard.
But so worth it.
Jada talks about how Will has been her biggest mirror, you know? Reflecting back those parts of herself that she needs to work on.
Yeah.
Which isn't always easy, but she sees the value in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like having someone who knows you so deeply that they can challenge you to become a better version of yourself.
The best version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful reminder, right? That those closest to us, they can be our greatest teachers.
If we let them.
If we're open to it.
Yeah.
It's about like being okay with that discomfort.
Yeah, that discomfort of being seen.
Of being seen. Yeah.
Truly seen.
Challenged, yeah.
Yeah.
And realizing that's where the growth happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about the infamous entanglement.
Okay.
The red table talk.
Yeah.
What happened? It's interesting to hear Jada's perspective on it.
Yeah, her side of the story.
So she reveals that she was actually ready to address it publicly on her own.
Wow.
But Will wanted to be there with her.
Be there with her.
But then when they sat down, he wasn't quite ready to like share their truth.
It's a good reminder that we all heal and process things at our own pace.
Yeah.
Jada was ready to let go of that persona. But she also had to respect Will's timeline.
Absolutely.
He needed more time.
And she ended up taking the heat, you know?
He did.
Recognizing that it was like her mess to clean up.
Her responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was willing to face that criticism head on.
Brave.
To move towards her own freedom, you know?
Freedom from that persona, from expectations.
Even if it meant, like, weathering a storm of public opinion.
There's so much courage in that decision.
There is.
Choosing authenticity over convenience.
Yeah.
Knowing that the truth, even though it might be painful, would set her free.
And it makes you think, right?
It does.
Like, are we willing to do the same?
That's the question.
In our own lives?
Yeah.
Even when it's hard?
Even when it's tough.
Yeah.
Jada's story, it's a testament to that power of authenticity.
It is.
And it reminds us that real freedom, it comes from owning our truth.
Owning our truth.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
Even when it's uncomfortable. Okay, so we're back, diving deeper into Worthy, Jada Pinkett Smith's story. And last time, things got pretty intense. We were talking about how, like, Jada and Will's relationship really challenges these conventional ideas, you know, about love, about partnership.
Right.
And how they're embracing this whole walking each other home concept, you know.
It's powerful.
But before we go further down that road, let's rewind a little, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Explore how Jada's own individual journey kind of unfolded.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You know, one thing that really struck me in this interview was how open she was about her struggles with happiness, even when she was achieving so much success in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's almost like she had this, like, perfect life on the outside, right?
Right.
But underneath, there was this, like, deep sense of something missing, like she was unfulfilled.
Exactly. And she didn't shy away from sharing that.
No.
She talks about how she went into her marriage with Will thinking that he was going to make her happy.
Oh, wow.
But as we all learn, at some point, happiness isn't something someone else can give you. It's an inside job.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like she was looking for these external solutions to this internal struggle.
Exactly. And she tried different things, moving back to Baltimore.
Right.
Like seeking solace in her roots.
Right.
Even, considered that maybe a new relationship would do the trick.
Wow.
But as she puts it, she was basically searching for a new kind of Prozac.
It's so relatable. We try to fix our unhappiness,
Yeah.
with things, achievements, relationships, whatever. But it sounds like Jada, she eventually realized that real healing, it comes from within.
It does. It has to. She had to confront that head on. And it wasn't easy. She talks about having this nervous breakdown and realizing that she had to rebuild her inner world from the ground up.
Yeah, that takes serious courage to face those insecurities, right?
It does. It does.
Challenge those beliefs we've been holding on to for so long,
It's not easy work. But it's inspiring to see Jada's willingness to, strip it all down and start over.
So then there's this other layer, right, to Jada's journey, plant medicine.
Yeah.
She's incredibly open about it, doesn't sugarcoat it, straight up says it saved her life,
Wow.
especially during a time when she was really battling with suicidal thoughts.
It's powerful to hear her talk about it so candidly.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that, she acknowledges that this path might not be for everyone.
Right.
But for her, it was transformative.
It was. She describes this grueling 4-night ceremony.
Wow.
Where she had to face her self-hatred head on. She calls it this journey through the valley of the shadow of death. Intense.
Wow. That sounds incredibly intense.
It does.
Yeah.
But for Jada, ultimately, it led her to healing.
To a breakthrough.
And her honesty is what shines through.
Yeah.
She talks about how she would put on a brave face, not burden anyone with her struggles.
Yeah.
And that's something so many of us can relate to, right?
Absolutely. It's that feeling of needing to appear strong.
Yeah.
Even when you're hurting inside.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that we're not alone in those struggles.
No, we're not.
And it's okay to reach out for help.
Yes.
To find support.
Support.
Yeah, to destigmatize mental health.
Yeah.
Make space for those conversations.
And Jada really emphasizes that importance of trust, perseverance, like to keep going.
Keep seeking.
Keep seeking.
Keep knocking on those doors.
Trusting that eventually one will open.
It will. It's a message of hope for anyone who's going through a dark time.
It is.
It's a reminder that healing is a process.
It is.
It's not a destination. It's a journey.
And she points out something really important, like how hard it is to express those feelings of unhappiness.
Yeah.
Especially when it seems like you have it all, right?
Right.
Like success, family, money.
The outward trappings of happiness.
Right.
Yeah.
And she says people often respond with disbelief, or try to downplay it, like
minimize it.
Yeah, minimize it. Oh, come on, you've got it all.
Right.
And that can lead to more isolation.
Absolutely.
More shame.
And feeling like you can't even talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she encourages us, to have those hard conversations.
Yes.
With people who might be struggling, to offer a listening ear, a helping hand.
Sometimes just knowing you're not alone
Yes.
is enough to make a world of difference.
World of difference.
Yeah. It's about fostering that sense of empathy and support for ourselves and for those around us.
Now let's get back to Jada and Will's journey.
Okay.
Their incredible journey together. It's been like a roller coaster ride.
It has been.
Full of ups, downs. Definitely not your typical love story.
Nope.
But through it all, they've kept this deep connection.
Not thread.
And this willingness to keep growing together.
It's so fascinating to hear Jada talk about all the different stages they've gone through as a couple. They were so young when they got married.
Yeah. Babies, she calls them.
Practically babies, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to navigate. Right?
Yeah.
Building a family, finding their individual paths, and trying to make a marriage work.
It's like juggling chainsaws.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's very open about the fact that, they've had breakups, separations,
Which I think surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not what we see in the headlines,
Yeah.
Really challenges that whole fairy tale idea of marriage.
It shows the reality, the messiness of it.
Right. It's like, okay, these are two real people figuring things out.
Just like the rest of us.
Yeah. Individually and together.
Trying to make it work.
And it's refreshing, right, to hear her talk about it so honestly.
It is. It's like, it takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Having to present this, like, picture-perfect image.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead, it's like, okay, this is real, this is human, this is relatable.
It's human.
Yeah.
And it's through all those challenges, that they've learned to redefine what their partnership is.
They've had to adapt. They've had to evolve.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where that walking each other home idea comes in, right?
Yeah, that commitment to growth.
The growth.
To evolution.
To each other,
Both individually and as a couple.
It's such a powerful testament to the idea that, like, love can transform.
It can. It has to.
Even when things get tough.
Even when there's adversity.
And it's about choosing to stay connected.
Yes.
Even when things get messy.
Yeah, the mess is where the growth happens.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about supporting each other's growth.
Exactly. Jada, she talks about how Will has been like her biggest mirror.
Oh, wow.
Reflecting back to her those parts of herself that she needs to work on.
Yeah.
Not always easy to see those things.
No.
But she recognizes how valuable that is.
Yeah.
To have someone who knows you so deeply that they can challenge you to become a better version of yourself.
Yeah, your best self.
And it reminds us, that our most intimate relationships, they can be our greatest teachers.
If we let them.
If we're open to it.
If we're open to it.
It's about embracing that discomfort of being seen, being challenged, and recognizing that those are the moments when we have the opportunity to really grow.
To evolve. Okay, let's talk about that infamous entanglement.
The entanglement.
The Red Table Talk episode that followed.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting to hear Jada's perspective on how it all played out.
What really happened?
Well, she reveals that she was actually ready to address it publicly on her own.
Wow.
But Will wanted to be there with her.
To support her.
Yeah, to support her.
Yeah.
But then, when they actually sat down at the table.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready to share.
To share their truth.
It's a good reminder that we all heal.
Yeah.
And process things at our own pace.
It's true.
Jada, she was ready to let go of that persona she'd been carrying.
Yeah.
But she also had to respect Will's timeline.
His process.
He needed more time.
Yeah. And she ended up taking the heat.
Taking the heat, yeah.
Recognizing it was like her mess to clean up.
It was her responsibility.
And she was willing to face the criticism,
Wow.
head on.
To move towards her own freedom.
Yeah.
Even if it meant facing that storm of public opinion.
There's so much courage in that.
There is. It's choosing authenticity over convenience.
Yes.
Knowing that the truth, even though it's painful, will ultimately set you free.
Powerful.
And it makes you think, are we willing to do the same?
That's the question.
In our own lives.
In our own lives.
Even when it's hard.
Even when it's hard. Jada's story, it's a testament to that power of authenticity.
Yes.
It reminds us that real freedom comes from owning our truth.
Owning our truth.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
Even when it's uncomfortable. Welcome back to our deep dive. We're really getting into the heart of Jada Pinkett Smith's Worthy. And, in the last part, we were unpacking so much, her individual journey, the self-work, all the ups and downs with Will. But one thing that really hit me is the strength, the wisdom that she's drawn from her children.
It's amazing, isn't it, how she talks about each of them. Trey, Jaden, Willow, almost like these wise little gurus.
Yeah.
They've taught her so much about life, love, everything.
It's true. It's like that reminder that, being a parent, it's not just a one-way street, right? We can learn so much from our kids.
Oh, absolutely. We're learning right alongside them.
Absolutely. Like with Trey, her oldest, it's beautiful. She describes how he's constantly teaching her to see the best in people, even when they've messed up, or they're being difficult. Trey's always focused on their spirit, their essence, not their flaws.
It's a good lesson for all of us, isn't it?
It is.
Approach people with that kind of grace,
Yeah.
Remember that everyone's carrying something, fighting their own battles. Choosing to see the good, I think that's where real connection starts.
It's true. And then you've got Willow, her daughter.
Yeah.
Jada calls her little guru.
Little guru, yeah.
And what Willow brought to Jada is this deep understanding of love and vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And Jada even admits that she had to learn a whole new way of parenting with Willow, meeting her needs in a way that was completely different from Jada's own upbringing.
Right. Recognizing that our kids are not mini versions of us.
Oh.
They come with their own unique set of needs, their own ways of experiencing love. And it's on us as parents to be flexible.
Yes.
Adapt.
Yeah.
Meet them where they are.
And one of the most beautiful things Jada shares is this letter that Willow wrote to her.
Oh, yeah.
Expressing gratitude for her vulnerability and strength. Like, how amazing is that?
It's incredible. It shows, how powerful it can be to let our kids see our true selves.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the messy.
The whole package, right?
The whole package.
And it gives them permission to be vulnerable, too.
Exactly. It creates this beautiful cycle of authenticity.
Yeah.
Acceptance. Strengthens that bond.
And then there's Jaden, the middle child.
Right.
She describes him as this incredible source of unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
And she tells this story about, feeling insecure, doubting herself as a mom. And Jaden just looks at her, with this pure love in his eyes. And he says, "Don't ever apologize to me again."
Wow. That's like straight to the heart.
Powerful.
Yeah. It's that acceptance, that unwavering love. It's a gift. It reminds us of that healing power that can exist within a family when we create that space for open communication, forgiveness.
It's clear, like, all three of Jada's kids have, like, really been instrumental in her growth, her healing.
They've helped her become who she is.
They really have. They've taught her to be more present, more compassionate, more accepting.
Of herself and others.
Of herself, of others.
Yeah, and that ripples out.
It does.
Into all her relationships,
Absolutely. Including her partnership with Will.
Especially that one.
Speaking of Will, let's get back to their unique dynamic.
Yeah.
Because throughout the whole interview, you can feel this deep love, this respect between them. Even though, they've chosen to define their relationship in a way that really breaks the mold.
It's inspiring to see, right? They've let go of those traditional romanticized ideas of marriage.
Yeah.
Embrace something more fluid.
Yeah.
More evolving.
They're choosing growth over comfort.
That's not always easy.
No. And after reading Worthy, Will sent Jada this incredibly touching message.
Oh, wow.
He starts by calling her Dink, it's just this cute nickname.
Dink, yeah.
Based on the sound of her golf swing.
I love that.
It's just so sweet.
It's like a glimpse into their world.
It is. And then he goes on to say how moved he was by her story. He says, "It's amazing to realize that despite having lived most of my life by your side, I still found myself shocked and stunned, then inspired, then heartbroken. I was all over the place."
Wow. That's really powerful.
It is, right. It's like, even in our closest relationships, there's always more to learn, more to understand about each other.
Yeah. And sometimes it takes, sharing our deepest truths to really bridge that gap.
And then he says this line, it just about melted my heart. He says, "If I had read this book 30 years ago, I definitely would have hugged you more. I'll start now."
Come on. It's beautiful. It's like he's acknowledging, that maybe there were times when he could have shown up differently, could have offered more support.
Yeah.
But instead of dwelling on the past, he's choosing to move forward with more awareness, more love.
And Jada talks about how Will's words, they represent this new level of willingness to listen, to understand, to create space for each other's needs and perspectives. And it's a reminder that relationships, they're a journey, not a destination. Growth is always a possibility.
Always evolving. And it speaks to that power of forgiveness, compassion. We all make mistakes. We all have blind spots.
Yeah.
But with love, understanding, we can learn from those experiences.
Absolutely. And move forward together. So stepping back, right, from their specific story, there's this bigger message about love, relationships. Jada talks about letting go of those fairy tale ideas.
Yeah.
And embracing a more realistic, compassionate view.
Embracing the messiness.
Yeah, the messiness. It's like she's saying, let's be real about the ups and downs, the challenges. Let's stop expecting perfection,
Yeah.
and focus on growing through those imperfections.
Growing together.
She even talks about how she used to think romantic love was like everything. But she's realized it's one piece of a much bigger, more expansive idea of love.
It's about opening ourselves to love in all its forms.
Yes.
Love for family, friends, community.
Yeah.
Love for ourselves. It's recognizing that love isn't just a feeling.
Yeah.
It's an action.
It is.
It's a choice.
A choice we make every day.
Every single day.
And Jada and Will's story, it's a testament to that, right? Like, despite all the ups and downs, it shows us that love is a verb.
It's something you do. It's about showing up for each other.
Yeah.
Even when it's hard.
Yeah.
Choosing to walk each other home.
Yeah.
Through the good times and the bad.
It's about letting go of control.
Yeah.
And embracing the messiness, the beauty of growing and evolving together.
It's a powerful reminder that we're all works in progress,
We are.
Perfectly imperfect in our humanness. And in the end, it's love, all its forms, that binds us together, guides us home.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Worthy, we're left with so much to think about.
Right. So much.
Jada's story of finding her worth, of embracing her vulnerability, of redefining love and partnership, it's deeply personal. But it's also universal.
We can all see ourselves in it.
Yeah. And it's a story that reminds us that this journey of becoming worthy, it's lifelong.
And it's ongoing.
It's ongoing. And we're never alone on that path.
We're not. And as we navigate our own journeys, let's remember to extend that same grace, compassion that Jada has found for herself. Let's extend that to others.
Yes.
To everyone around us. Let's embrace the imperfections, the messiness, the unexpected twists and turns. Yeah. Because it's in those moments, in those choices, that we truly discover what it means to be worthy, to be loved, to be fully alive.
That's it. That's our deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep embracing the messy, beautiful journey of life. Until next time, stay curious and keep diving deep.